So, um, would you tell me a bit about your background and how you ended up in your current role?
Yes. So I'll start from the beginning. So I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from Georgia State. I have a master's degree in community agency counseling, which is now clinical mental health counseling from Auburn University. And most recently, I graduated from the executive PhD in urban higher education from Jackson State. I graduated in April. Um, I've been in my current role for about 3 years now. It's a really long title. I'm the Assistant Dean for the Center for Academic Success and Accessible Education. So I'm over first year experience, advising and accessibility services. And once coming on board at St. Aug, I did a quick assessment and we actually changed the name from the Disability Services Office to Accessibility Services. Just felt that that was more appropriate and in line with what other schools are doing and just felt more appropriate for the students. So because I have a background in counseling, it was a smooth transition into this role, especially when it came to the accessibility services part. I not only service our traditional on-campus students, but we have an adult learners program, and some of those students need reasonable accommodations. But a very large part that many people do not know, we have an early college program, high school program on our campus, and a significant number of those students require accommodations. And that means meeting with Wake County teachers, SAU staff, families, in addition to counselors at school, and depending on their challenge, if it's a physical issue, then there's some, not necessarily physical therapists, but there are other like occupational therapists that are required to be in these meetings. So it can be a lot. It can be very demanding, but also very rewarding.
Cool. What parts of it do you find most fulfilling for you?
You said most rewarding?
Yeah.
Okay. I would have to say, so all of it's rewarding except for the paperwork. But no, just being able to inform the campus community, so the faculty and staff, to inform them of what accessibility services mean and what reasonable accommodations means. Me being able to share that, or really dispel myths. I think that's a good phrase to use. So dispel some myths. It's not giving the students a leg up, which is why we call it accessibility services. It's just making sure that all the students have access to the same resources, regardless of their physical or mental health challenges. So being able to inform and dispel myths, that's really rewarding. Being able to see, so our early college students, those who may be seniors, so they're going to graduate from high school, and then they might stay here for college or go to another college, being able to provide them with information at their potential school, like, oh, hey, I found the disability services or the accessibility service office. Here's the contact information. Make sure when you go to orientation that you reach out to them. A lot of families don't know that they can receive accommodations in college. So that's rewarding, and to see that, you know, they can they can receive the same services and they can be on the same line as other students. I guess that's what I'm trying to articulate. So all that's rewarding, just being able to help the students and their parents, um, you know, as they face various challenges, just being able to inform the campus community, like, you know, it's not giving the students a leg up. It's just making sure that they are on the same playing field as other students. So all of that's rewarding to me.
Oh, oh, I, yeah, I love, I love how you talk about, uh, being able to not only impact the student, but often be impacting their family also. I'm curious how you perceive
Mm, okay.
students related to their disability.
How do I perceive them? Um, so working at SAU, this was my first time working with students who may have a disability. So when I did my internship in my counseling program, um, it was an outpatient facility, and some of those students, they were there for substance abuse issues, but they had other issues. They may have had opposition defiant disorder or ADD or ADHD. Um, but here in this role, we do have students who have those types of disorders, but we do also have students with other type of um, challenges. They may have a physical limitation. They might have other mental health challenges. We do have some students who have um, health challenges. So I don't perceive them any type of way. I am just glad that the students advocate for themselves, which is different once they come to college. And that's what we require. We require the student to come and see us every semester to check in and see if they need their accommodation. So I don't perceive, no matter, what they look like or where they're from or anything like that, I don't perceive them any type of way. Um, I think that's just how I was raised, but also with my educational background in counseling, just about biases and working with diverse populations and things like that. And that's another thing that's rewarding, because this is kind of a sidetrack. But when people talk about diversity, it's usually about race or ethnicity, and it's
Yeah.
never about ability. And I
Mhm.
like to bring that up into the conversation. So,
Yeah. I, 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 I love that. I love that you went there. I love your comment about about ability
mm,
often being overlooked in the diversity
yes.
space. And I'm wondering when 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 you bring that up, how how, how does that shift the conversation?
Got it. Um, so and the way it's brought up, because St. Aug is a small HBCU, so people don't think of us as being diverse. And then that's when I say diversity is not just about race or ethnicity, it's about gender and gender identity and sexual orientation and religion and age. And also, it's about ability level. So people just kind of look at me funny, and I'm like, you know, and I always bring it back to what I've learned in school, but you just have to think about the essence of what diversity is. It's about differences, and differences is just not about what you look like. It's how you think. It's your environment that you're brought up in. So it leads to a very meaningful conversation, and I'm glad that I just have this knowledge and just have this experience to be able to share with other people.
Cool. Cool. How would you your students feel about um self-disclosure?
You said, how do they feel about what now? What was the last piece? I'm sorry.
Disclosure.
Oh, you said exposure?
No, very, very close. Um, about talking about their disability.
Gotcha. Um, some students, especially, I'll have to say on this campus and just in HBCUs in general, I think it's a cultural thing for minorities. We don't like to talk about disabilities, whether
Mm,
it's I like to say whether it's a visible challenge or an invisible challenge. It's hard, and I know I'm speaking in generalities, but it's hard for minorities in general to talk about it. It's kind of taboo, especially when it concerns mental health. Um, I would just say I don't think our students like to talk about it. Even if it's a temporary disability, they don't sometimes want to accept the help. Um,
mm,
I I seen a young man, and he had a boot on his leg, and I just walked up to him. I said, "Are you okay?" I explained who I was. I said, "Do you need an accommodation? To be excused from class, or preferential seating, or um, you know, leaving class early, or getting to class late." And he said, yeah, he didn't know who to ask, or he didn't know who to talk to. And I'm
mm,
like, that's something small. And I just wish that uh, disabilities, just like mental health, I just wish that it wasn't so taboo, that we would be more open to talking, and I guess asking the questions, but asking appropriate questions, um, because sometimes we'll see students that may be in a wheelchair, and they may not need, you to hold the door for them, or they may not need for you to do something. And I think we just need to have conversations like what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. Hey, would you like for me to hold the door for you? Would you like for me to do this for you? So yes, I just, to answer the question, I just think it's the students don't necessarily like to talk about it,
mm.
which is not necessarily a good thing. We want them to talk about it, and let them know that it's help, if they need it. So
Yeah, yeah. Uh, what do you think are some of the necessary elements of unwinding that several
you said, what do you think? Some necessary
elements
elements.
in in unwinding that taboo?
Um, that's a good question. Um, you said necessary elements, so around this conversation about disabilities?
No, in unwinding or getting behind the the taboo.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, just more conversations. I just have to be honest. I think so. I'm a one person office. So for the traditional students, adult learners in early college, that's meeting with the students and sending out their accommodation letters. So I don't have time for programs. But if I had another person, I think having different programs um, that would assist in um, some of the conversations that we stray away from or we shy away from. So, just a basic passive program. I know at previous institution, I worked closely with the Disability Service Office, and they had a movie night. And it was about, I think the main character, it was someone, they had a physical disability. They put up a poster board, a trifold board with famous people who had visible and invisible disabilities. And I think that's a conversation starter. So just starting small. Um, and accessibility services is, people don't realize it's not just for classroom accommodations. It should be in the residential hall, in the cafeteria and other programs. Um, so I think maybe if I had more personnel, maybe partnering with student engagement, um, and when they have a field day, making sure that those games and activities are accessible for everyone. It's not, even if you're, well, I'm not athletic. Okay, well, there are some people who have physical challenges. How can they participate in these games? So I think, more programming, having intentional conversations. But ultimately, it starts at the top. So you need to make sure that the president and the other senior leaders, they are making disability and accessibility services important, making sure that we have a budget for different resources and, services and speakers and all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that first uh, um, yeah, um, I want to shift a bit, besides community, we'll talk about that in a minute. Well, curious, what other mentorship opportunities students have acting out and where where the disability conversation fits in there.
So, about mentorship, I would say, and I'm putting my school out there, but I would say I don't think we have any specific opportunities for those students who have disabilities. Um, I think we need to do a better job of being intentional about um, having those types of opportunities. So I'm glad that you all have this career, advocate program and are looking for, student representatives. But um, we do have various mentoring opportunities on campus, the freshmen and the upperclassmen, or the freshmen and alumni, recent graduates, and older alumni. So we have those mentorship opportunities, and they're open to everyone. But I perceive that our students with disabilities may feel left out because they don't think that they can participate. So I would just say that, yeah, we don't have any specific mentoring opportunities, or maybe just the opposite. Maybe they know that they of course realize they have a disability, but they don't need specific opportunities because they join the other mentoring groups. So
Yeah. 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 Um, I'm curious. Yeah. If, if there is, if there is a particular the what that is, and what what would, yeah.
I do think there'd be great opportunities. I think it would look like, so no matter where you go, if it's college, if you go to, a religious, place, church or what have you, uh, neighborhood, wherever you go, I guess you want to live around like-minded people, people who look like you, people who have the same interests. So I think to start some type of mentorship opportunity or conversation, if the students had people who look like them or were in similar situations, they would be more willing to participate. I don't think they would be left out. So I don't know any other things, but that would be my guess. If something was created, I know that the students would participate.
So that begs the question. Uh, if if you had carte it could design something however however you wanted. Um,
Hmm.
what would be your vision for for how can we how can we really operate?
If I could design a program, so so is the program related to mentorship, or it could be any program that I want to design?
Oh, I, I, I meant it in relation to mentorship.
Okay.
Um, but I think that the other version is much more interesting.
Okay. Um. Let's see. I would like to see, so just a variety of different people from all walks of life, being able to reach out to our students. So maybe, um, it starts virtual, Zoom or Teams or something like that, or social media, but then eventually you may meet, once a month face to face, and you just talk. I think mentorship is organic, so
Mm,
it's not just the adult checking in on the student. I think the student should check in on the adult. Well, how's your work and how's your life and how's your family? So I always thought mentorship was a two-way street, but it should be organic. So
mhm.
just communication. I think the students would really like that. You don't want to just let this be a short-term opportunity or a one-time opportunity, because the students are going to start um, peeling back some of those layers, and they're going to get to know their mentor, then it just stops. So just consistent communication and just a organic relationship, talking about college and life after college and career, and just um, having that mentor be uplifting to the student, that regardless of your um, limitations, that you still can, be successful. Um, I can't think of anything specific. I have a mentor, but it was someone that I found at school and college, and we still keep in touch. But I've never been a part of a mentoring group. But I just think as long as it's consistent and organic, I know that the students will appreciate it, and I know that it will work. Um, Maybe even some, not necessarily field trips, but maybe uh, placement opportunities, if the students could see, where you work, or, here's some companies and organization that specifically are wanting to hire, students with disabilities and things of that nature. That's a good question. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but just organic relationship and consistent communication. I know that the students would appreciate that, because a lot of times at colleges and universities we'll start programs, but then
Yeah,
when people leave, the programs don't continue, and that's frustrating for the students.
yeah, yeah. I've been there. I get that very well. Hey, I love this idea of organic relationship,
Hmm.
and it makes me wonder what we need to be mindful of
Hmm.
around being too pro- program heavy. Um,
Yeah. um, I I would say when when a student and a adult is being paired up, what is the student looking for in the mentoring program? And then I will also ask about time commitment, because if the adult is too busy and the student's looking for something long term, that might not be a good fit. So yeah, I would just ask the two, what are you looking for, out of this mentor? Is it an older friend to talk to? Is it, help with college? Is it career? So just seeing what that student needs and pairing them up to what the adult, can provide.
mhm. I'm curious how, from, from your perspective, how important is it for the mentor to have a disability themselves.
Um, I think it can be important. Um, I don't know if I want to say a requirement, but
Yeah.
again, it should be some similar interests. There are some similarities there. Um, I was tasked with trying to implement a mentorship program when I was in another functional area in student affairs. And we had a series of questions about gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, disability, career goals, and aspirations in college because we were trying, and that was for the mentor, and because we were trying to match the mentee and the mentor. We wanted them to be as good of a match. Like, I'm looking for somebody who is this career goal because that's where I'm trying to go to, or they went to this type of college, or they have this type of religious background. So I don't know if having a disability is a requirement, but I think um, it would help the student so that the student can see, despite my visible or invisible challenge, I can still be successful. So I think it would help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm not sure if it would, I don't think it has to be a requirement,
Yeah.
but just making sure they have other similarities.
Yeah. If the mentor did not have a disability, what would what, what might be your recommendation?
So I would say
Uh,
if they did not have a disability, my recommendation would be that there need to be other similar interests. So for this particular program, our students are at a HBCU. Maybe they've worked at a HBCU or they graduated from an HBCU. Um, um, or if the student wants to go into a particular field, maybe that um, the mentor has experience, in the particular field, IT or criminal justice or education. So if there's not a disability, there needs to be some similarity so that
yeah,
the mentor and mentee can, have some talking points to build that organic relationship.
I love it. I love it. What message would you want to offer someone who might be on the fence about about stepping up to become a mentor?
So a message, um, I would tell them to be open-minded, of course, not to be judgmental, and just be a good listener. Um, we don't know all the stories or all the things that our students deal with. So I would just say, just be there to be a good listener. Um, I know sometimes as a mentor, students come to me and I call it dumping. They just, they have so much on their shoulders, so many pressures, so many things that they're going through, and they may not know how to articulate it. So I would just tell, my message would be open-minded, be non-judgmental, and just be a good listener. Because sometimes the students just want you to listen and not necessarily have a conversation. Like, you don't always have to say something. They just really want you to be there to listen, um, and just to be an active part of their support system. If you cannot make the time commitment or the the physical commitment, I would tell them, don't sign up because these students, they really need us. They need us to be a part of their support system.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share?
Um, I just want to say thank you again for thinking of me. I'm just really excited to be a part of this project. I'm glad that you all are focusing on HBCUs. North Carolina, we have 10 HBCUs, public and private, and we have the second, so we have the most four-year schools and the second most HBCUs in the country. And I'm just happy that you all decided to focus on HBCUs because a lot of times our institutions or these institutions are left out of various conversations.
Mm.
Some people don't think that HBCUs are still necessary. Why are we still open and things of that nature. So I just want to say thank you for thinking of us and thinking of our students. And I'm just excited to be a part of the project. I'm excited to get our career advocates off the ground. And that's it. If I can be of help, um, yeah, I'm here. I'm just a phone call or email away. So
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
yes, thank you.